She's dropping hints. But are you missing them? Most men are. Because you're overthinking. You're analyzing texts. You're panicking when she's busy. You're trying to decode mixed signals that aren't actually mixed at all. Here's the psychological truth. If a woman is interested in you, it's obvious. The signals are clear. You're just not paying attention. Or worse, you're looking for the wrong signals. From a psychology perspective, women's attraction signals are consistent. They're behavioral. They're observable. They don't require you to be a mind reader. You just need to know what to look for. This is Liza from Secrets Inside the Mind, and today I'm breaking down the 5 psychological signals that reveal a woman is genuinely interested in you. Not what she says, what she does. Because actions are always more honest than words.
If you've ever felt confused about whether a woman was interested or not, if you've wasted time analyzing mixed signals, subscribe right now. Because this video gives you the clarity you need to stop guessing and start understanding. Keep watching because the final signal is the one most men completely miss, but it's the most important. Section 1. The psychology of female attraction. Why signals matter. Before we get into the 5 signals, you need to understand the basic psychology of how female attraction works, because understanding the psychology changes how you interpret the signals. From a psychological perspective, women's attraction operates differently than men's. Men tend to be more visual and immediate with attraction. Women tend to be more contextual and gradual. Women assess compatibility, safety, emotional connection, and behavioral consistency. This means that when a woman is attracted to you, she's not just responding to your appearance or status. She's responding to how you make her feel. She's responding to whether you're consistent. She's responding to whether you're safe emotionally. Psychologically, this manifests in specific behavioral patterns. These patterns are what I call the 5 signals, and they're consistent across different women, different ages, different backgrounds, because they're rooted in female psychology, not individual preference. Here's the key psychological principle. Women show attraction through prioritization. They show it through consistency. They show it through vulnerability. They show it through presence. And they show it through action. When you understand this psychologically, you stop looking for games. You stop looking for complicated signals. You look for evidence of prioritization, consistency, vulnerability, presence, and action. Because from a psychology standpoint, those are the real signals. Section 2, signal number 1, prioritization. She chooses you when it costs her something. The first signal is straightforward from a psychology perspective. She prioritizes you, not just when it's easy, but when it costs her something. Let me explain this psychologically. Any woman will show up for you when she has nothing better to do. Any woman will respond to a text when she's bored. Any woman will make time for you when her schedule is empty. But here's the psychological test. Does she prioritize you when she's tired? Does she show up when she's stressed? Does she make time for you when she could bail and do something easier? From a psychology standpoint, this is the real signal of interest, because prioritization requires sacrifice. Prioritization requires that you matter more than her comfort. Prioritization requires that you're worth the effort. Psychologically, women know the value of their time and energy. If she's giving both to you consistently, even when it's difficult, that's a clear signal that she values you, that she sees you as important, that she's invested. Here's how this shows up practically. She reschedules her plans to see you. She texts you even when she's exhausted. She shows up even when she said she might not be able to. She doesn't ghost. She doesn't disappear. She's reliable. From a psychological perspective, this is one of the most important signals because it tells you about her capacity for commitment. It tells you whether she can follow through. It tells you whether you're actually a priority or just a distraction. And here's what's important. This signal is observable. You don't have to guess. You just have to pay attention to whether she prioritizes you or whether she prioritizes her own comfort. The answer tells you everything. Psychologically, if a woman is consistently prioritizing you, even when it's difficult, she's interested. It's that simple. Engagement, CTA number 2, around 3 minutes. If you're recognizing this signal in your life, like this video, comment below about when she's shown you that you're a priority and keep watching, because the next signal is equally important, but more subtle. Section 3, signal number 2, consistency. She shows up the same way over time. The second signal is consistency. And from a psychology perspective, this is one of the most revealing signals because consistency reveals intention. Here's the psychological truth. Anyone can be nice for one interaction. Anyone can be friendly for one date. Anyone can be attentive for one conversation. But consistency? Consistency requires genuine interest. Psychologically, when a woman is interested in you, her behavior doesn't fluctuate wildly. She doesn't go from extremely warm to cold for no reason. She doesn't disappear for weeks and then reappear. She doesn't give you attention one day and ignore you the next. Instead, her behavior is consistent. She maintains the same level of warmth. She maintains the same level of responsiveness. She maintains the same level of engagement. Okay? From a psychology standpoint, this consistency signals that her interest is genuine, not situational. It signals that you're a priority, not an option. It signals that she's invested, not just playing around. Here's how this shows up. She responds to your messages regularly. She maintains contact consistently. She shows up the same way, whether it's been one day since you talked or 1 week. She doesn't need reassurance that you're still interested because her behavior shows she is. Psychologically, consistency is powerful because it creates safety. When someone is consistent, you know what to expect. You don't have to constantly wonder where you stand. That predictability is actually deeply attractive because it communicates stability. And here's what's important psychologically. If her behavior is inconsistent, if she's hot and cold, if she disappears and reappears randomly, that's a signal too. But it's a signal of the opposite. It's a signal that she's not genuinely interested. It's a signal that you're not a priority. It's a signal that she's keeping you as an option while she explores other options. So pay attention to consistency, because consistency tells you the truth about her interest. Section 4, signal number 3, attentiveness. She remembers details and acts on them. The third signal is attentiveness, and from a psychology perspective, this is one of the most underrated signals. Here's the psychological reality. Attention is a limited resource. Our brains can only focus on so much at one time. So when someone pays attention to the details of your life, when someone remembers things you said, when someone asks follow-up questions, that's a signal that you're taking up cognitive space in her mind. Psychologically, when a woman is interested in you, she's thinking about you, and when she's thinking about you, she's paying attention to what you say. She's storing details. She's remembering your interests, your worries, your goals. And then, and this is the crucial part psychologically, she acts on that information. She remembers that you mentioned you had a job interview and asks you how it went. She remembers your coffee order and brings it to you. She remembers that you're stressed about something and checks in on you. From a psychology standpoint, this is massive because it shows that she's not just passively listening. She's actively processing what you're saying. She's thinking about how to make your life better. She's investing in understanding you. Psychologically, this is also a sign of emotional investment because caring about details requires energy. It requires that you matter enough for her to direct that energy toward you. Here's how to observe this signal. Listen to whether she asks follow-up questions. Listen to whether she remembers things you mentioned in passing. Notice whether she brings up previous conversations. Notice whether she's curious about your life or whether she's just waiting for her turn to talk. And then notice whether she acts on what she learns. Does she surprise you with something she remembers you wanted? Does she check in on things that are important to you? Does she show that she's been thinking about what you said? From a psychology perspective? If she's doing these things, she's interested because she's investing cognitive and emotional energy in you. And people don't invest in things that don't matter to them. Engagement. CTA number 3. Around 6 minutes. If you're noticing this signal in your interactions, comment below. Tell me about a detail she remembered that surprised you. And if you haven't subscribed yet, this is a good moment because the next 2 signals are even more revealing. Section 5. Signal number 4, vulnerability. She opens up and lets you in. The fourth signal is vulnerability, and from a psychology perspective, this is one of the most powerful signals because it requires trust. Here's the psychological truth. Women are socialized to be guarded, to protect themselves, to not show too much too soon. So when a woman is being vulnerable with you, when she's sharing things that matter, when she's letting you see her flaws and insecurities, that's a significant signal. Psychologically, vulnerability requires safety. Women won't be vulnerable with someone they don't trust. They won't open up to someone they think might judge them or use against them. They won't show their real self to someone who doesn't matter. But when she's interested in you, she takes that risk. She opens up. She tells you about her fears. She shares her past. She lets you see parts of her that she doesn't show everyone. From a psychology standpoint, this is her telling you that she trusts you, that she sees you as someone safe, that she's willing to let you in. Here's how this shows up. She shares personal stories. She talks about her insecurities. She cries in front of you or lets you see her when she's struggling. She's less filtered around you. She's more authentically herself. Psychologically, this is a huge signal because it means she's invested in being known by you. She's not just performing. She's not just showing you the polished version. She's showing you the real version. And that takes courage. Like psychologically, that means she thinks you're worth the risk. But here's what's important. Don't confuse openness with interest. Some women are just generally open with everyone. So this signal is most powerful when combined with the other signals. When she's both open and consistent, both vulnerable and prioritizing you, that's when you know it's real interest. Section 6. Signal number 5, presence. She's fully there when you're together. The fifth signal is presence. And from a psychology perspective, this is the signal that reveals whether she's genuinely interested or just going through the motions. Here's the psychological reality. Presence is rare. Most people are mentally somewhere else. They're thinking about their phone, their work, their problems, other people. True presence, where someone is fully with you, fully focused on you, fully engaged, is uncommon. But when a woman is interested in you, she's present. Psychologically, she's choosing to direct her attention fully to you. She's not distracted. She's not thinking about other things. She's here with you, engaged. From a psychology standpoint, presence is one of the most intimate things you can give someone because it's about choosing them over everything else in that moment. Here's how this shows up. She puts her phone away when she's with you. She makes eye contact. She listens without planning her response. She's engaged in conversation. She laughs genuinely. She's not checking the time. She's not thinking about what she needs to do next. She's just there. Psychologically, this is powerful because it communicates value. It says, you matter enough for me to give you my full attention. You're worth my presence. And here's what's important. Pay attention to how she is when you're together versus when you're apart. If she's fully present with you but distant over text, that's one thing. If she's fully present with you and responsive when you're apart, that's a stronger signal, because it means her interest extends beyond just the time you're together. From a psychology perspective, true presence, where she's fully engaged with you consistently, is a clear signal of genuine interest. Engagement, CTA nerve 4, around 9 minutes. If you're noticing these 5 signals in your life, you're getting clear information, like this video if it's helping you see the signs more clearly. Comment below about which signal is most obvious in your situation. And keep watching, because I'm going to wrap up with the most important insight. Section 7, the psychology of action, why you need to act on these signals. Now that you know the 5 signals, there's one more crucial thing psychologically. You have to act, because knowing the signals means nothing if you don't do anything with that information. From a psychology perspective, clarity requires action. You can't just observe these signals and do nothing, because observation without action is stillness. And stillness in a relationship context often gets interpreted as disinterest. Here's the psychological truth. Women are watching you too. They're observing whether you're interested. They're noticing whether you're reciprocating. They're paying attention to whether you're moving toward them or staying distant. So if you see these 5 signals, if you're confident that she's interested, you need to act. You need to make your intentions clear. You need to move the relationship forward. Psychologically, this is about reciprocity. You're showing her that you see her signals. You're showing her that you're interested too. You're showing her that you're willing to take risks for this. And here's what's important from a psychology standpoint. Taking action doesn't mean being aggressive or pushy. It means being clear. It means expressing your interest. It means asking her out. It means telling her how you feel. It means moving from observation to participation. Psychologically, this is also a test for her, because when you express your interest, you'll see whether she's genuinely interested or whether she was just being friendly. Real interest will be reciprocated. Fake interest will disappear. So, observe the 5 signals, but don't stop there. Act on what you observe. Section 8, the psychology of intuition. Trust what you see, not what you overthink. Here's something important from a psychology perspective. You probably already know the answer to whether she's interested. You're just overthinking it. Psychologically, intuition is real. Your brain is processing information at a subconscious level. You're picking up on signals that you might not consciously recognize. You're sensing whether she's interested or not. But then your conscious mind takes over. You start doubting yourself. You start asking your friends. You start overanalyzing texts. You start creating alternative explanations for her behavior. And suddenly, the clarity you had is gone. From a psychology standpoint, this is the trap. You're trading clarity for confusion. You're replacing observation with overthinking. So here's what I want you to do psychologically. Trust your intuition. If you feel like she's interested, she probably is. If you feel like she's not, she probably isn't. Your gut is reading the signals correctly. Your conscious mind is creating doubt. The 5 signals I just gave you are tools to verify your intuition. They're not meant to replace it. They're meant to confirm what you already sense. So pay attention to these signals. Observe her behavior. Notice the patterns. And then trust what you see. Don't overthink. Don't doubt. Don't create complicated explanations. Just see what's there and act accordingly. Section 9. The psychology of clarity. When to walk away. There's one final psychological principle I want to address. Sometimes the clearest signal is the absence of signals. If you're looking for these 5 signals and they're not there, that's also clarity. That's information. That tells you she's not interested. Psychologically, this is where many men get stuck. Like, they see the absence of signals and they interpret it as a challenge. They think if they just try harder, if they just wait longer, if they just prove themselves, eventually she'll be interested. But that's not how psychology works. Interest either exists or it doesn't. And if these 5 signals aren't present, if she's not prioritizing you, if she's not being consistent, if she's not paying attention, if she's not vulnerable, if she's not present, then she's not interested. The psychological clarity here is don't waste your time. Don't try to convince someone to be interested in you. Don't try to create signals where they don't exist. If she's interested, the signs will be clear. If she's not, the signs will also be clear. From a psychology perspective, the worst thing you can do is ignore the absence of signals and keep pursuing. Because that's not romantic. That's harassment. That's disrespecting her decision not to be interested. So observe the 5 signals. If they're there, act. If they're not there, walk away. That's psychological clarity. Engagement, CTA number 5, final call, around 13 minutes. If this video has given you the clarity you needed, comment below. Tell me which signal was most eye-opening for you. Tell me about a time when these signals were obvious and you ignored them. Share this video with a friend who needs to understand this. And subscribe to Secrets Inside the Mind, because understanding the psychology of attraction, the signals of genuine interest, and the importance of clarity is something every man needs to know. Because when you see clearly, when you observe the actual signals instead of creating stories, when you understand the psychology of female interest, everything changes. You stop chasing, you start choosing, you stop guessing, you start knowing, and that's where real connection begins. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.